Well, all right. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Hot Seat Automotive Podcast. It's your buddy CJ here. And tonight, we're talking about all things automotive industry, the car guy hobby, all the things that real gearheads are most interested in talking about. Real Gearhead Talk. This is the place to be for that Real Gearhead Talk. Welcome back to all my subscribers. You know your buddy CJ loves each and every one of you, and I am so grateful for each of you. Now, having said that, if you're new to the channel, welcome. All are welcome here. We talk about cars and motorsports, supercars, muscle cars, exotic cars, what's going on in the automotive industry. Guys, we get into all the things that automotive enthusiasts and gearheads are most interested in. Give me a like and subscribe if you're new. Thank you for checking out the channel. Come on, let's go ahead and get right into it. Tonight, guys, going to touch on some things going on in the automotive industry, things that I think are interesting and noteworthy and of interest to gearheads and car guys like you and I. Let's go ahead and talk about it, guys. So we're going to jump right in. What do we got? So first things first, gearheads rejoice. The V12 is alive and living well in 2024. Are you kidding me? Did you know that in this era of the move towards electrification and the move towards hybrid, there are still multiple manufacturers who are selling and developing and promoting the V12 platform? Are you kidding me? Not only cars like the Ferrari 12 Cilindri and the Lamborghini Revoluto, okay? How about Aston Martin? How about Mercedes-Benz? How about Rolls-Royce, okay? A couple things to note here. Why are automotive manufacturers in 2024 still willing to produce V12s? One, because customers are delighted with the V12 platform. Customers want it, okay? Two, customers are willing to pay a premium for a V12 still in 2024. And lastly, the V12 platform and architecture is profitable for these automotive manufacturers. So, hello, automotive industry. Hello, global regulators. Can we please let the market dictate what's best for the industry? I'm not saying that the V12 is the right platform across the industry. I do think it's a fascinating dialogue and a fascinating point to say that there is still demand for the V12 platform in 2024. Now, the way some of these automotive manufacturers are getting it done, number one, they're leveraging hybrid architectures together with the V12, and or they're getting through certain smog requirements and clean air requirements. They're able to navigate that because of the low volume output for these V12 vehicles. But I do think these are fascinating times. I'll say it again. These are interesting times to be an automotive enthusiast. Gearheads, I think we need to stop complaining. Not that we're all going to run out, each of us, and buy a V12 like a Ferrari or a Mercedes-Benz Maybach or something like that, or the Lamborghini Revoluto. But having said that, you know, we still do have a massive quantity of internal combustion engine options out there, not only in the new market, but in the used market. So maybe 2 or 3 generations from now, car guys, it'll be hard to snag the internal combustion engine car that you want. But today, in 2024, it's actually a fantastic time to be a car guy. V6s, inline 4, twin turbo, V8s, V10s, V12s. We've got everything out there that we could possibly want. Yes, there are a lot of interesting dynamics and forces moving and aligning in the automotive industry, pushing towards hybrid, alternative fuels, EV. We'll see where it all fleshes out. I'm not going to get into all that tonight. What I really want you to know is that there are still several manufacturers producing and developing the V12 platform, and I think that's really cool and interesting and worth noting. You know, I mentioned the Aston Martin. I think it's a DBS 770. Certainly the Ferrari 12 Cilindri. Rolls-Royce with both an SUV and car platforms, I believe, that are available with the V12. Mercedes-Benz with that big Maybach S680 or S Yeah, I think it's the S680 Maybach. Don't quote me on that. But point being that Mercedes-Benz still offering a 12-cylinder. So guys, interesting times, right? And by the way, leave me those comments. Keep those comments coming. You know your buddy CJ loves talking to you and loves talking about all things cars, automotive industry. Come on, you name it. Let's keep going, guys, because nobody's having more fun than us tonight. Jeep, you're killing us. Guys, did you know that 2024 was supposed to be the last year of the Jeep Wrangler with the 392? In fact, they did this cool 2024 final edition, and Stellantis, the parent company, and Jeep said, everybody run out and get you your final edition Jeep Wrangler with the 392, right? Because that's it. And by the way, they started $100,000. Hello, $100,000 Jeep. Guess what? They're bringing it back for 2025. So Stellantis says, hey, we were just kidding. Jeep says, we were just kidding. All that manufactured demand for 2024 is the final edition of the Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 392. Nah, we'll bring it back for another year. Couple things on this. Number one, it's fantastic to see that the demand is still there. I'm not a fan of the old bait and switch, though. This is not the first time Jeep, Dodge, Stellantis, Chrysler Corporation has done this in the past. Let's not forget the Dodge Durango Hellcat version, okay? Stellantis did the same thing. That was going to be a one-year vehicle. Everybody who wanted one ran out and bought one, and all the markups over MSRP, so on and so forth. Guess what? They bought the Hellcat Durango back again, and there were lawsuits, and listen, I don't think it's good behavior. Here's another example. Even your buddy CJ. In 2016, I bought my first Jeep. I'm not a huge Jeep guy. Trust me, I'm not all about that Jeep life, but I like Jeeps in general. And I was always intrigued by Jeeps as a kid, particularly some of the classic Jeeps. I had to get a Jeep out of my system. So in 2016, I bought a 75th edition. I've got photos of that. Let me know if you guys want me to share that. Talk a bit more about my personal Jeep experience. But I bought 2016 75th anniversary edition Jeep Wrangler Unlimited. Okay. And I loved that vehicle. And I thought for a while, I loved it. That's another story. I thought it was cool that it was a one-year special edition. Yeah, not so much. In 2017, guess what Jeep did? They brought it back again. It wasn't even the 75th anniversary anymore. And they brought it back again. Come on, Jeep. What you doing? And by the way, is this crazy? $100,000 Jeep Wrangler? I'll tell you what, your buddy CJ going to give you a tip tonight. People who are considering buying one of these final edition Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 392s, I got a better suggestion. Go out and buy a used Hellcat Challenger, since that's what you really want anyway, is a big high-performance Hemi. I get it. Buy a Hellcat and buy a nice Jeep Wrangler Unlimited. You get 2 for 1. I guarantee you can find 2 for the price of one brand new final edition Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 392. I know, listen, it is a final constrained edition, allegedly. We'll see if they bring it back again. But just food for thought. Leave me those comments. Who's going to buy a $100,000 Jeep? I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. This is all in good fun, guys. Let's keep going because, listen, this is what we do on this channel. So, a couple other things. Guys, I want to talk about this thing, the Koenigsegg Gemera. This is a new hypercar or mega car from Koenigsegg. The interesting thing about this is we're looking at 4-passenger, 2,300 horsepower platform, okay? So rather than just a 2-seater hypercar for super high performance going around a track, right? We're looking at something with some practicality. This thing's got some trunk space. This thing's available with luggage. Okay, you can get it in up to 2,300 horsepower. How crazy is that? Now, I did go to the launch event in Charlotte, hosted by McLaren Charlotte, Charlotte Koenigsegg dealership, and I was able to check the car out this week. I was also able to talk to a representative from Koenigsegg, from the factory. They tell me that just about all 300 of these, they're only selling 300. All 300 allocations are indeed spoken for, although some of those cars are going directly to dealerships, apparently. So if you want your Koenigsegg Gemera, you can get one. Now the bad news, starting price is like $1.7 million US. Now that doesn't include the V8 option, the 2300 horsepower variant. This is a hybrid. You can get it in, I believe, a 3-cylinder or the V8, which is the monster at 2300 combined horsepower, the hybrid drive, the V8 plus the electric drive, 800-volt system. The representative that I spoke to, a heck of a nice guy at the launch event when I had a bit of a one-on-one with him, he told me that about 50% of these are being sold in the United States, the other 50% across the globe. I asked about what I consider to be perhaps the most important component of this car. Koenigsegg Gemera, most important component, 8 cup holders. Are you kidding me? How many cars have you ever been in that had 8 cup holders? Your buddy CJ wants 8 cup holders, but I don't think I want a Koenigsegg Gemera, nor do I think I'd be spending $2 million in the near future on a Koenigsegg Gemera. So listen, I think it's a fascinating car. I enjoyed checking it out. The performance, the technology, the hand-built component, the exclusivity of this car as a true hypercar, or as a mega car, if you will, absolutely staggering and fascinating. Having said that, let's call this what it is. This is a car that is going to be traded amongst the super rich and elite from a wealth standpoint across the globe. So 300 of these, many people will never, ever, ever see a Koenigsegg Gemera. You will not see it at the local grocery store. You will probably never see it at a car show or a car meet or an event. You might see someone driving one around, but I think a lot of these are going to be traded. What do you guys think? Within and amongst various high-end collectors, the super rich, the super wealthy, as I mentioned, and by the way, guys, is it Koenigsegg Gemera? Like what? Anyway, listen, having a bit of fun here with you guys. But in all seriousness, Koenigsegg Gemera, fascinating car, incredible, elite, exclusive hypercar, okay? 4 seats, up to 2,300 horsepower, and 8 cup holders. Why is nobody talking about this? Only your buddy CJ is going to bring you the important facts about the Koenigsegg Gemera. This thing's got 8 cup holders. What are you kidding me? Guys, let's keep going. We're having fun tonight. And I just love coming on here, talking to you guys about cars, interacting with you on the gram. Hit me up on the gram, Hot Seat Gearheads. Leave me those comments. Give me a like and subscribe. Come on, we just going over some automotive news tidbits tonight. And what I think, listen, we having a great time doing it. Guys, one more. How about this? Fisker Automotive, bankruptcy. It's unfortunate, but is nobody willing to talk about the fact that this is really the second go-around with Fisker and the second bankruptcy? Does this feel like DeLorean Part 2? Like, seriously. I think, listen, kudos to Mr. Fisker, to everyone who got this, entrepreneurial initiative off the ground, okay, and actually brought these production vehicles to fruition. I think that in and of itself in the modern era is saying a lot. But not every good idea and innovation, and not every new automotive concept really makes sense to go to production. It's a very tough business. And some of the people, whether it was Mr. DeLorean years ago, who had a wildly successful and storied career in the automotive industry, and then struggles for various reasons. That's a whole other thing. For why DeLorean folded and was not a financial success. Fast forward looking at Fisker with the first incarnation of Fisker, with the Fisker Karma, and all of the challenges and the failures, I hate to say it, let's call it what it is, the failures that really caused Fisker to have that first bankruptcy going back to 2013. We're talking about quality issues, safety issues, manufacturing issues, all of these things, right? And by the way, I'm not hating on what Fisker did. And what I'll say is, to this day, when I see a Fisker Karma, and I see them from time to time, I remember years ago, I was at a dealership looking at cars in Florida, and I saw my first Fisker Karma. It was in the back of this little private dealership. Looked like it had been sitting there for months. I don't know if it was having technology issues or what with that wonky hybrid drive or whatever was going on with it. A couple of the tires were clearly low on air. The car was filthy. But looking at it, I said, wow, that's a really interesting design. It caught my eye. I think there was a lot of upside to this Fisker Karma. I think they hit some snags financially, operationally, supply chain, quality issues. They fell on their face. They filed for bankruptcy. It's too bad. It's really too bad. Now, fast forward, when Fisker came back and came out with this all EV SUV, the Ocean, okay, a lot of challenges, quality issues, software issues with the Ocean, okay, safety issues with the Ocean. Now, this time around, Fisker completely outsourced manufacturing. A company out of Austria by the name of Magna was actually doing all manufacturing. So Fisker's approach, in order to reduce financial risk and going concern risk, they decided to kind of minimize their assets and to leverage outsource manufacturing, which conceptually makes sense from a business standpoint, right? But unfortunately, that didn't pan out. And Fisker, with all these problems around the Ocean that I already mentioned in this second business odyssey that they were on, started issuing some warnings, okay? And ultimately filed for bankruptcy. Now, there was also news wires and indications that they were looking for sort of a white knight partnership in the automotive industry. I don't think it was ever officially announced, but it was believed to have been Nissan. They were looking to potentially partner or maybe sell to Nissan. That never happened, okay? And again, not official. This is all rumor and speculation that partner was Nissan. But whoever it was, and I'm speculating here, it didn't work out. And unfortunately, they're liquidating. So listen, guys, it's, to me, a couple of interesting things here. And again, I think the comparison with DeLorean is an interesting one, right? Because you say, cool concepts, doesn't look like anything else on the road, some revolutionary, interesting designs. I mean, the latest incarnation of Fisker was supposed to go head to head with Tesla, right? And they had other models and prototypes and concepts in the works. The Ocean SUV was to be the first one, okay? But listen, a lot of waves have to break right. You place your bets, and at least a few of those bets in any business, particularly in the automotive industry, they got to pay off. And I think, once again, unfortunately, would have been great to have Fisker as another player on this stage. Didn't pan out because I think their designs were cool. Listen, your buddy CJ is always a fan of the underdog and the upstart. Unfortunately, didn't really pan out for Fisker. Automotive industry is brutal. Look at some of the challenges Toyota is having right now. For those that don't know, Toyota is the largest automotive manufacturer in the world, and Toyota does a lot of things right. For those that know your buddy CJ and you tune into the channel, you know that I have a lot of admiration for Mr. Toyota, current chairman, for the storied, incredible success of Toyota over the years. But it hasn't always been roses, wine and roses. I mean, they've struggled. They've had their challenges. Most recently, there's been some allegations of fraud around quality and vehicle testing. They've been audited. They've been investigated. We've got regulators in Japan who are coming out and saying, they're smacking Toyota on the hand and saying, you did some things here that were wrong. And we need you to stop manufacturing and selling these vehicles until we square it away. And it's not just Toyota. I mean, it's Yamaha, it's Mazda, it's other manufacturers in Japan as well. But I think Toyota, we hold to a higher standard, don't we? And I think with an operation that large, what do I think? with enough audit and inspection and examination of these quality processes and these testing processes, a regulator is going to find things. They're going to find irregularities. They're going to find exceptions. Now, I'm not making excuses for Toyota. I am not a shareholder in Toyota. I don't mind telling you that. I'm just being really honest and transparent as a business guy and as a car guy to say that, let's not make Toyota out to be the villain here necessarily. There's some things from a corporate governance standpoint. There's some things from a quality assurance standpoint and a functional process standpoint they're going to have to fix and make sure they get right with the regulator, no doubt. But I don't think it's fair to completely, make villains out of Toyota, and certainly not Mr. Toyota, the chairman. I think they'll fix it. I think they'll get it right. My point being for that segue into Toyota after talking about Fisker is that this is a brutal industry. This is an industry in transition. This is an industry that is transforming. Challenges around global regulatory and compliance matters. Challenges around safety. The move towards EV, reducing carbon emissions. Okay? What's going to happen? Who's going to win out? Is the right play hybrid? Is it EV? Waning demand around EV, macro, financial, and economic conditions, whether it's interest rates, so on and so forth. These things fluctuate, okay? Supply chain challenges, okay? You name it. This is a tough industry, and it's not a flat, predictable, consistent industry. Look what happened during COVID, during the pandemic. If you had anything with an engine and four wheels on it, you could sell it for maybe 1.5 to 2x what it was actually worth or more. They were crazy days and demand was wild, right? Interest rates were low. Dealer lots were empty. They're kind of returning to normalcy on the dealership lots. The automotive industry, the retail aspect of the industry, the manufacturing aspect of the industry, there's a return to normalcy in some regards, but then there's a new norm that's emerging. And it's continuing to evolve, in fact. And there are a lot of unknowns. So why do I say that? Fisker had a tough go of it, and I think timing is everything. They got hit with several challenges, and perhaps we blame them for some of them. Quality, software issues, safety issues. But these can be tough marks to hit when you're innovating and you're leading edge, right? So challenging times. Guys, I wanted to come on here and share some of these news tidbits, things that your buddy CJ thinks are interesting going on in the automotive industry. What do you guys think? What do you think about Jeep bringing back the Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 392 final edition? 2024 is not the final edition. It's actually 2025. Maybe it'd be 2026. Who knows? What do you think? What do we think about the Koenigsegg Gamera? Who? What? Guys, what do we think about the V12? It's alive and living well. And finally, the Fisker bankruptcy in the context of broader challenges in the automotive industry. What's going on with Toyota and other manufacturers? This is a tough time to be in. It's a tough business. You think your job's tough. Listen, guys, wanted to come on here and talk to you a bit. Leave me those comments. Give me a like and subscribe. You know your buddy CJ loves you. I'm a gearhead just like you, and I love talking about this stuff. What do you guys think? And listen, until I see you on the next one, peace.